Well, welcome back to Story Time, and we're ready to read another story. Now, this story, boys and girls, is a little different story, and I want to just tell you a little bit about the author this morning. Before we get started, this one's entitled David, God's Rock Star, but I want you to know about the author, and that's the person that actually writes the story. The person that wrote the story, he was about 60 years old, so he's an older gentleman when he began writing these books for these particular kinds of stories. He'd come to know Jesus very late in his life, and he heard a grandfather reading Bible stories to some of his grandchildren, and he felt they were very, very boring. So he thought he would start to write some Christian books, putting a little spin on some stories in the Bible. He used a little bit of his own creativity, should I say, when he wrote these stories, but I just want to share them with you because I found them very, very adorable. This particular story is a story about Joseph, all right, in the Bible. And if you want to read the Bible story, the true Bible story, it's actually found in Genesis 37 to 47. But this book is entitled Joseph, Papa's Pet. Israel had 12 sons. His favorite was Joseph, who was definitely Papa's pet. All the other boys wore hand-me-down coats, but Joseph's coat was brand new and of the latest fashion. He was also the only one allowed to sleep late in the morning. While the other boys were up working, Joseph was down dreaming. He was dreaming about all his brothers working for him. They did not like this. In fact, they talked about ways to get rid of him. We could put him in the wine press and make Joseph juice. We could throw him in front of a camel train. We could simply sell him. And one day they did. They sold him to be a slave in a land called Egypt. Joseph was bought by a rich man named Potiphar, and soon he became the favorite slave in the house. Then all the other servants resented him. They called him Potiphar's pet, and they plotted ways to get rid of him. We could put him in a wine press. We could throw him in front of a camel train. We could say he made a pass at the boss's wife. And one day, they did. Potiphar got peeved and threw Joseph in jail, where he became the jailer's pet. He would wander around prison, interpreting everyone's dreams, and he soon became the prisoner's pet. A definitely different spin on the story. I hope you're enjoying this, though. So when one prisoner, Pharaoh's head butler, was released, he told Pharaoh about Joseph. This guy's really nice, and he interprets dreams. Now, Pharaoh was having some weird dreams, so he sent for Joseph, who told him what they meant. And Joseph became Pharaoh's pet, but nobody minded because he saved everyone from starving, and then he was Egypt's pet. One day his brothers came before him asking for food. They didn't recognize him, for he was all dressed up in the latest Egyptian fashions and were pyramids. When they came back to ask him for seconds, he told them who he was. They cried, had a big family reunion, and they all moved in. When they heard about his many good fortunes, they unanimously agreed that surely Joseph was God's pet. The end. I hope you enjoyed that. And as I said, you can actually read the true Bible story, and if you want to, it's found in Genesis 37 to 47. I hope you enjoyed that. Enjoy the rest of your week, and until we see you again, God bless.